Chimpanzees, a species under threat. Human expansion is pushing into their home ranges. They're being hunted for their meat. But dedicated researchers are on their trail to unlock the secrets of their forest lives and preserve their remaining populations in the wild. What they find is astonishing. Chimpanzee societies are complex hierarchies, where intelligence, social bonds, and group traditions dictate their lives in the forest. Man's closest living relatives, the chimpanzees. Their evident intelligence, complex social structure, and the fact that some of their behavior could be called almost human have fascinated people for centuries. We're beginning to understand more about the way they live and even observe the beginnings of something usually considered unique to humans: culture. They're a highly successful species and are found throughout equatorial Africa in surprisingly diverse habitats. But although they are the most abundant and widespread of all the apes, chimpanzees are an endangered species. Hunting and habitat loss due to human activities have led to a serious reduction in their numbers. Some experts fear that by 2030, over 50% of the chimpanzee population will be lost. But efforts are underway to protect these incredible animals in the wild, driven by dedicated researchers like Dr. Chie Hashimoto of the Primate Research Institute of Kyoto University, Japan. Dr. Hashimoto has been on the trail of the chimpanzees of Kalinzu Forest in Uganda for the last 18 years, working closely with her assistants and the local population. Her aims are to understand the complex workings of chimpanzee society and to promote their protection among local people. By road, Kalinzu Forest lies roughly 380 kilometers southwest of Uganda's busy capital, Kampala. While Kampala is home to over 1 million people and the embodiment of a bustling modern city, just 6 hours' drive away lie the calm, densely forested hills of the Kalinzu Forest Reserve. This is the kingdom of the chimpanzee, a lush tropical forest covering about 137 square kilometers. The reserve and bordering jungle are the largest expanse of tropical forest in Uganda. Constant mist and rainfall keep the soil and vegetation lush and fertile all year round. Animals in the forest are used to the wet conditions. Black weaver birds busily use a dry spell to build their intricate nests. The forest is home to a myriad of plants and animals that have learned to exploit everything this three-dimensional labyrinth has to offer. A wide range of fruit-bearing trees support a wealth of life, including 6 different species of monkey. From red-tailed monkeys to blue monkeys, Loests monkeys to Anubis baboons. And black and white colobus. But the most remarkable residents of all are the chimpanzees. They are what draws Dr. Hashimoto to this remote location. Her research station lies around 3 kilometers from the forest boundary. Her expeditions into the virgin forest of Kalinzu begin here. Where the forest starts, the road ends. All Dr. Hashimoto's research has to be painstakingly carried out on foot, as she follows the fast-moving chimpanzees through the tangled labyrinth of trees and undergrowth. The only way to track chimps is to work as a team. Dr. Hashimoto maintains constant radio contact with her 3 assistants.
Now I have arrived at 700 pass over. Are you coming here over?
Yes.
They have worked together for years and know the forest and its animals inside out.
So there is no footmark?
No footmark. But last year I heard a voice from around.
Around?
The team follows the sounds of the forest to track the chimps down.
This is Kuro.
Eventually, they manage to find the local group of chimpanzees.
He has something red. Like Yawara. No? I see like...
This is the M group, a chimp community that has been the focus of Dr. Hashimoto's research for the past 13 years. She knows all the group members by name. It's as if she's spending time with old friends. At a maximum height of 1.3 meters and weighing about 50 kilos, chimps are much smaller than humans. But what they lack in height, they make up for in strength. Male chimpanzees have an average 5 times the upper body strength of a human male. Each one has a unique face and personality. Dr. Hashimoto can recognize each member of the group. Opposable thumbs and long fingers and toes make chimpanzees dexterous and able to swing skillfully in the trees to search for fruits and leaves. Kalinzu Forest has over 100 different food sources chimps can target. They spend up to 7 hours feeding every single day. Chimpanzees usually move around in groups and belong to even larger communities. The M group is made up of 60 family members. At the core of the group are the dominant males, whose job it is to protect their home range against advances from neighboring chimp groups. Males have a complicated hierarchy with a single dominant male in charge. They're in continuous competition over their rank, but stay with the same group for life. The structure of chimp societies is very complicated and often in a state of flux. The males and females in Dr. Hashimoto's M group spend little time together and roam their 25-kilometer territory in smaller subgroups. Altogether, there are about 450 chimps living in Kalinzu Forest, and at least 3 of the other groups are known to claim the neighbouring territories as their own. As territories are highly prized, clashes between rival groups are common. The dominant male of the M group is a huge chimp in his prime, thought to be about 23 years old. Dr. Hashimoto has named him Kuro. Kuro has been in charge of the group for 5 years and enjoys the respect of his fellow chimps. Grooming is a frequent and important activity. Not only does it get rid of parasites and keep fur clean, it reinforces social bonds and ranking. A young male called Ponta starts to groom Kuro. Ponta is only about 14 or 15 years old and still has to establish his position within the M group. Kuro pays him no attention. It is important for Ponta to show respect for his leader or run the risk of being put in his place. Young males have to work hard to establish good relationships with other males in the group. It could help them climb the slippery hierarchy ladder. Ponta tries his luck with Deo, second in command of the M group. This time he is recognized, and the older chimp grooms him back. These complicated social rankings dictate a male's access to females. The higher the rank, the higher the chance of mating and fathering the next generation. Dr. Hashimoto has found an interesting trend among the members of the M group. Grooming chimps tend to mirror the posture of their partner. Raising their arms high to hold hands, they use their free hand to groom. This behavior is only found in some chimp groups. It presents a significant insight into chimp behavior. Grooming traditions are clearly not down to instinct. They are learned behavior and have become part of this group's culture. They are one of a series of group-specific traditions which are passed from one generation to the next and make chimpanzees even more human-like than we might have thought. It is this idea of the development of culture in chimpanzee societies that is a crucial part of Dr. Hashimoto's research. To observe every aspect of the chimp's daily behavior, the researchers' work often starts at dawn. This time, they come across some of the chimps as they begin to rise from their overnight nests high up in the trees. Group leader Kuro is already awake and breakfasting on musanga fruit. Musanga are a precious resource for the chimps as they bear fruit all year round. Chimps have developed a distinctive way of eating fruit. Filling their mouths, they crush them to a pulp and squeeze out the juice. It's a process called wodging and allows them to extract all the fruit's nutrients. Infants begin to imitate adults at around 4 years of age and follow the same feeding techniques as their mothers. Even babies begin to copy their mothers at an early age. This is how they discover what's edible and what isn't. Just like humans, chimps learn everything they need to survive from their mothers and peers. Choosing what to eat isn't based on experiment or instinct. Dr. Hashimoto sees this as another expression of the chimp's culture. Skills like making a nest to sleep in are also learned. This 5-year-old is already making his own nest, preparing for the day when he will leave his mother's side. But perhaps most impressive is the fact that chimps use tools and pass these skills on to their children. Some members of the M group have found a honeycomb in a fallen tree and use sticks to collect the sweet sugar. Although the nutritional payback doesn't seem that great, chimpanzees just love the taste of honey and relish any chance to get it. Sticks are also used to collect ants and termites. Doralus ants are a treat for the local chimps living in Kalinzu forest.
This is chimpanzee. Chimpanzee passed here?
Dr. Hashimoto and her team come across a swarming ant nest and a stick used by a chimp to extract the angry ants from their nest.
This is a stick.
Chimps break twigs off plants or trees, strip off the leaves, and use the stick to fish for the tiny insects. When a stick is pushed into an ant nest, the insects try to defend their colony and attack the stick, clinging to it in droves. But Doralus ants are aggressive and have painful bites. Chimpanzees in Western Africa are also known to fish for Doralus ants, but they use much shorter sticks, which are only about 20 centimeters long. It's thought the ants found in Kalinzu forest are especially aggressive, so chimps living there have learned to use longer sticks to protect themselves. The M group chimps always select straight twigs, at least 50 to 80 centimeters long. Dr. Hashimoto believes this demonstrates a series of trial and error, which has resulted in the best ant fishing technique. Other chimp groups that have been studied in Uganda behave very differently, and only the Kalinzu forest chimps have been found to practice ant fishing. It is likely the skill was invented by one chimp in Kalinzu, and the practice has been passed on from one generation to the next as a distinctive culture. To really get an insight into how different chimp groups behave in different locations and habitats, Dr. Hashimoto makes the 1-hour drive to the Queen Elizabeth National Park to the northeast of Kalinzu Forest. She hopes to find out more about the cultural differences between her study group and chimps living at the national park. She has chosen to focus on a group living in Kiambura Gorge in the heart of the park. Queen Elizabeth National Park is dissected with lakes and waterways, attracting a myriad of water-loving species. It is a completely different collection of animals to those living in the highlands of Kalinzu Forest. Hippos enjoy the rich water supplies. Elephants cut through the undergrowth. And lions patrol the vast savanna expanses spreading out along the lake shores. The open savanna also harbours plains animals that are alien to the highlands of Kalinzu Forest. Does this mean the chimps found here have also developed different habits from those in Kalinzu? At the valley's ranger station, Dr. Hashimoto is greeted by two staff who know the valley chimps intimately.
My name is Chie.
You're most welcome.
I'm Jimmy.
My name is Chie, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So you're most welcome to Queen Elizabeth National Park.
I am studying chimps in Kalinzu
Oh,
for more than 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I like to see the difference between chimpanzee in Kalinzu and chimpanzee in Gorge.
Okay.
The valley is a green forested scar that runs through the heart of Queen Elizabeth National Park. It is about 16 kilometres long and drops 100 metres from the plains of the savannah to the gushing river at the valley bottom. But the chimps that live in the valley are hard to track down in this tough terrain. There's only a 50% chance of finding them at all. It'll be a grueling trek through the forest crowding the riverbanks. Even if they do manage to find the chimps, it will be extremely hard to keep up with them in the dense undergrowth. To make matters worse, heavy rains have swelled the river dramatically in the last few days. Progress is difficult.
Somebody passed here. Yeah, maybe we came following some of these chimps.
This is a fresh one?
Yeah, it is fresh. Like this one here. And this one. Yeah.
But then the rangers find a clue. Footprints.
And this should be a male chimp. This should be a male. Because if it was a female, then you would see some small knock prints of the babies following their mothers. Yeah, they should be very near, according to the calls.
Then they hear the distinctive sound of chimp calls. They catch a quick glimpse. But to really observe the chimp's behavior, they'll have to get closer. Finally, they're in luck. The chimps pause to gorge on Saba Florida fruits, a sweet, juicy treat that doesn't grow in the Kalinzu forest. Jimmy describes the chimp's unique way of eating some fruit.
If he's strong, he can still hit the fruit and it splits.
Oh.
Yeah. With the fruit, it depends to the size of the fruit and the size of the chimp. They can pick like this one, just a matter of hitting onto the fruit to soften it. So at the end, they throw it down and pick the fruit. Then starts biting.
This is something Dr. Hashimoto is never seen in Kalinzu. The chimps in the M group never hit a fruit to soften it before eating. The valley chimps seem to have come up with their own unique coping strategies. The chimpanzee group living in Kiambura Gorge has only 20 members. Perhaps as a result of their smaller population, the group dynamics are completely different from Dr. Hashimoto's M group. Males and females in the valley group stay together nearly all the time. It is a monumental difference in lifestyle between the two groups. As the day progresses, the base of the valley becomes uncomfortably hot. And it isn't just a struggle for the researchers. The chimps find it tough too. Some have a quick drink to cool down. Others lie under a tree to escape the relentless sun. This is something almost unheard of in Kalinzu. So these two groups of chimps living relatively near each other and likely to be closely related have developed different habits. Their culture varies considerably, and they have adapted to their different locations. Before long, the chimps are on the move again.
Yeah, this is Kihango.
Kihango.
Passing. Yeah, that one is Kihango.
They quickly climb to the edge of the valley. Dr. Hashimoto and the rangers struggle to keep up. When they reach the top of the valley, Dr. Hashimoto is greeted with an unfamiliar sight.
Climbing there, the tree.
Yes.
The chimps head out into the open savanna.
It's fantastic. I have never seen chimpanzee savannah. This is climbing. This is who?
At least here.
Yes, many.
We are scared
1,
of
2,
something.
3,
1, 2,
four.
3, 4, 5.
5. Like 6 minutes.
To overcome the limitations of their valley home and find enough food, the chimps have expanded their territory into the savanna, despite the dangers of meeting lions and other predators. It seems the valley chimpanzees are aware of the potential dangers of being out in the open. They are constantly on guard. Then something even more surprising happens.
Standing on 2 legs.
Standing 2 legs. Remember? Like people.
To see over the long savanna grasses, the chimp stands up like a human being. It's almost like taking a trip back in time to around 7 million years ago, when the earliest human ancestors left the forest and started to walk upright. One of the defining characteristics of human beings is the ability to walk on 2 legs. It is thought this may have been driven by the constant need to look out for predators on the open plains. This is part of the valley chimp's unique culture. They have found ways to bridge the constraints of their own valley territory and move into the savanna. Another skill passed down the generations, but one which isn't shared by other chimpanzee populations. Back in Kalinzu Forest, Dr. Hashimoto's M group displays another of the surprising skills chimpanzees have developed: their ability to work as a team. Male chimps occasionally hunt colobus monkeys. This isn't a haphazard chase through the trees. It's an orchestrated team effort. The chimps' aim is to chase the panic-stricken colobus into the treetops while cutting off their escape routes below. Their unwitting quarry is stuck. The chimpanzees work calmly and methodically. Every member of the hunting party takes up a strategic position before the chase begins. The chimps bristle with excitement. Group leader Kuru catches the small monkey. High-ranking males are usually the ones to make the kill. Kuru tucks into his protein-rich meal. He mixes it with leaves, perhaps to improve the taste or help chew and process the meat. Hungry females gather around the hunters. They would like some of the spoils, but Kuru is not one for sharing. He loves to eat meat and is very possessive. But when an older male named Tangi arrives, Kuru lets him feed. Tangi obviously holds a position of authority. A 4-year-old infant dares approach the dominant male. Against all expectations, the cheeky youngster is tolerated. He even manages to grab a quick bite for himself. Copying the adults, he makes sure he eats leaves with the meat. Once again, there is a complicated social hierarchy at work, and most members of the M group are careful not to overstep the boundaries of their rank. This hierarchy is mirrored in another important part of the chimps' social lives: mating. For the last 9 years, Dr. Hashimoto has also studied the sexual behavior of females. It requires strenuous fieldwork, following a specific female for a whole day and recording all her activities every 5 minutes.
Yes.
What emerges is a detailed record of the females' day-to-day lives. They focus on raising their offspring and teaching them to survive. Just like human children, learning by copying adults takes time. Young chimpanzees tend to stay close to their mother for years, until they reach sexual maturity. Their mothers will have more children in the meantime, but this does not break the close bond between them and their older offspring. When males and females meet, males check the female's status. Based on their smell and body fluids, the males try to detect when the females come into heat and ovulate. It's all about the chance to father the next generation. For male chimpanzees, this is of the utmost importance. This female's bottom has swollen and turned pink, a sure sign she is coming into heat. Chimpanzees have a cycle of around 35 days, comparable to that of a human. Around 10 to 14 days into the cycle, the female's sex skin swells, sending a sure signal to the males that she's ready to mate. A crowd of males soon gathers. The leader, Kuru, appears, but he lacks the urgency of the lower-ranking males. As the dominant chimp in the group, he has the right to mate whenever he wants, so he's in no hurry. Kuru checks the female's status and leaves again. Her ovulation has clearly not started yet. But a few days later, the attention given to the female has intensified. Now Kuru is at the center of the gathering. Since this female has already had a successful pregnancy and is raising a healthy infant, she is in strong demand. One male vigorously shakes a branch to try and grab her attention. A young 3-year-old named Mikio approaches to investigate. Once again, he is learning by observing the adult. At times like this, when females are coming into season, males and females in the M group spend much more time together. Grooming is a common sight. For the males, spending time grooming a female could court her favor when it comes to mating. But the prospect of receptive females also starts fights between some males. Kuru is predictably the first to mate. Surprisingly, almost all the males in the group proceed to mate with the female. Dr. Hashimoto knows this is due to the presence of so many adult males in the group. Even Kuru can't shrug them all off and claim the female for himself. Competition is too fierce. He has to be content with claiming the prime time to mate with the female for himself. It is hard work for her. Exhausted, she tries to get some rest. But the mating frenzy in the group means that even now a low-ranking male called Boa takes his chances. Not only that, but her 3-year-old son, Mikio, is calling for her. She willingly gives him the attention he wants. The patience of a chimp mother seems to know no bounds. Since the females of M group mate with so many males, it is hard to know who the actual fathers are. Instead, the entire group functions as one family unit, and all the males act like fathers for the new babies. But while the M group in Kalinzu Forest is busy creating the next generation, the world population of chimpanzees is in decline. They're under pressure from an expanding human population and habitat loss. Kalinzu Forest is a relatively safe enclave, surrounded by Ankora tribe villages. The villagers are farmers, growing fruit and keeping their distinctive Ankora cattle. While elsewhere in Africa, local people often fall back on hunting wild animals, including chimpanzees, as a valuable source of protein, the Ankora people's cattle provide all the protein they need. They have very little need to hunt forest animals. But even this safe haven is increasingly exposed to outside pressures. The Kalinzu highlands boast fertile volcanic soil. It makes them an ideal environment for growing tea, and vast plantations have sprung up along the forest edges. More and more forest is being turned into farmland, and it is the logging paths that create a serious threat for the chimpanzees. They provide easy access to the forest for poachers. Although their targets tend to be guinea fowl and wild boar, it is the poachers' traps that spell disaster for the chimps. A number of M group chimps have received horrific injuries as a result of these traps. Boa is likely to have lost his foot in a trap many years ago. Although he manages to move around confidently, the loss of a limb can be lethal for a chimpanzee. A young female, Kako, also got caught in a trap, seriously wounding her arm. Now she is always with her older sister, Nako. But despite these setbacks, there is hope. Local people are beginning to engage in a number of projects designed to protect their forest and the animals within it. Dr. Hashimoto has been the driving force behind the Kalinzu Forest Environmental Education Center. Here, they hope to teach local children about the forest animals and bring them closer to their natural surroundings. Despite living so close to the forest, many Ugandan children know little about wild animals. Few have ever seen a chimpanzee, even though they may have heard their calls. Dr. Hashimoto gives talks to try and bring people closer to the animals.
I like to of chimpanzees.
She's been involved with the centre for the past 7 years. And gradually, children are learning to appreciate the forest animals. To protect the forest from further illegal logging and exploitation, there are also efforts to introduce ecotourism schemes. The profits from these are hoped to replace the earnings from the logging industry. Local villagers are joining in Dr. Hashimoto's efforts. Collecting seeds found in chimpanzee droppings, they have started to plant and grow trees where logging has destroyed the original forest. It is a long-term project that will hopefully bring local people and wild animals closer together and enable them to live side by side for generations to come. And there is cause for optimism. One morning, Dr. Hashimoto finds one of the M group females, Esunzu, up in the trees, clutching a small bundle. The latest addition to this chimpanzee family. A young male approaches her curiously and starts to groom the mother. It's almost as if he's trying to congratulate her on the birth of her baby. Just like generations before it, the tiny infant will learn its group's culture, its habits and traditions from its mother and peers. As we find out more about chimpanzees and their intricate social structures, intelligent behavior, and the development of group-based cultures, time is running out for many of them. While some dedicated people are doing all they can to protect chimpanzee habitat, everyday sections of forest are lost to increasing development pressures from logging and plantation industries. For now, the chimpanzees of Kalinzu Forest are safe and continue to amaze and offer further insights into the private lives of chimpanzees.